I'm wearing my new Kiss shirt, which is super cool. I like it. We're having like a Kiss love fest at my house like the last like couple weeks because my 4-year-old just discovered Kiss, so she's like all fucking into it, which is cool for me because like I'm a Kiss fan, so it's been cool like introducing her to that. And it's always funny with little kids because it's like, you know, Kiss is like the perfect band to like to show little kids because they're literally like larger than life comic book characters. So it's like, you know, she's 4 years old, so it's like there's that like thing where like she can't. She's like, so like, what the fuck? Like, are these aren't even like real fucking people? Like, holy shit! Like these motherfuckers are from like space, and this guy's like a fucking demon and shit. Like, shit's crazy. So she's like blowing her mind. And then also there's like a Scooby Doo cartoon that has Kiss, so it's like her her whole world is just like they're in Scooby Doo. Like, it's fucking hilarious. That's kind of the genius though of their appeal is that like that band will outlive all of us. They're gonna outlive themselves literally, and then they're gonna outlive all of us too because they created these like avatars that aren't even like they're literally just like comic book characters. Like Kiss will be like even when people like don't people will probably remember Kiss more than they'll remember even like the Beatles. Like given a long enough time span, I bet I would put money on Kiss outliving the Beatles. Kiss is gonna outlive everyone. That's what's gonna be fucking hilarious. It's like the critics fucking hate him, and like all the like music snobs are like, oh, like fuck Kiss, like whatever, and it's like, yeah, but they're gonna outlive fucking everyone. It'll just be after everything is laid to waste by nuclear warfare. It'll be cockroaches and Kiss. That's all that'll be left. Which is fine by me. Scotty said the disco band. Oh man, boy, I would have loved to have been around in 1979 or 78, whatever year it was that they put out fucking uh I was made for loving you, baby. Like, oh man, to be like a hard rock fan in like 1978 or 1979 and Kiss pulls that shit, like people, I mean, I've heard people talk about it, who were there, and it's like you think people don't like it now. It's like, oh man, like you know, hard rock fans like back then in the late 70s, they were fucking pissed. Like teenagers and shit, like, oh my god, to be like in one of those like 70s like basements, you know what I mean, like where you're like in a maybe you're even like starting out a band and you're like 16 years old, just to be like, what the fuck with Kiss, bro? What is up with Kiss in this fucking disco song? And like now like little kids like him and shit, and like fuck this band. Man, people were so fucking upset. It's funny now, but it's like, yeah, like, and like I think like I have an interesting relationship with the band because like obviously I wasn't alive in the 70s. I was born in the very early 80s, so I missed out on all that. But so my sort of like introduction to Kiss wasn't that Kiss. My Kiss was the 80s Kiss, the without the makeup. That was my Kiss. So I have this whole other like weird relationship where it's like, to me, the makeup era stuff was like old. It like felt old because like I was introduced to them in the 80s. So like the first stuff that I heard from Kiss that I liked was like stuff off like well, I did like Creatures of the Night, which they did have their makeup on, but a lot of that stuff, like they only did like one short tour for that record, which actually like bombed. That record didn't do well at all, even though it was like a heavy record. Like they went like pretty heavy, and well, heavy for Kiss, and you know, it would have been it's kind of like they were like trying to get back their fan base, but by that point the fans were like, fuck you, you did disco, and then you did the Elder and like all this other shit, and they were just kind of gone. But anyway, I liked that record, but like I actually liked like Hot in the Shade, and Hot in the Shade is like actually like one of my top Kiss records, and that fucking record is like 80s as fuck. You know, I liked Animalize and all that stuff, but that was like the Kiss that I grew up with, like the 80s MTV Kiss, where they were all like wearing like leather and shit, and like, you know, the big 80s hair metal hair, and and then they put out Revenge in 92, which was like super fucking cool. A new challenger, what the fuck? Oh, it's me. It's Dan. Hey Blondie, here's a quarter. What's up, Shove? What was they saying? Oh yeah, they fucking put out Revenge, which was also like a super cool record, you know, and like heavier for Kiss, but it had that like that cover of God Gave Rock and Roll to You. I think they called it God Gave Rock and Roll to You too. It was on the Bill and Ted soundtrack. But again, like it was non-makeup Kiss, so yeah, that's just for the longest time. It's like that's who Kiss was to me, and like Kiss and makeup was just this old thing that they used to do. So, and it was wild because I got to fucking see them when they did the reunion tour in 1996. I went to go see them in Las Cruces, New Mexico. But that was when I finally, it took that for me to finally respect what they did in the 70s with the makeup. That changed everything for me. And it was the original four guys and everything. And you know, I went back and like listened to all those records, and like it kind of changed I had a new respect for Kiss, and I've respected them ever since as a band, because like all the bullshit aside from like, you know, Gene Simmons, like, you know, he's a fucking, you know, he's crazy and he says controversial shit, and you know, whatever. Personalities aside, and like all that bullshit, as just like a hard rock band, like the stuff that they were doing, like their early stuff, they were just a good band. Like Ace Frehley, like you wouldn't have like a lot of guitarists that you have today. Like the influence is like, it's incalculable. Like the influence that Ace Frehley alone had on fucking hard rock and metal, honestly. I mean, like Dimebag Darrell fucking loved that dude. Like a lot of metal guys fucking loved Ace Frehley, and like, you know, even like grunge, like a lot of that was like influenced by, like, he had this like real like kind of like almost like sloppy like way of playing, and like it just like, I don't know, like it had a lot of feeling, and like, but it was still technical, and just nobody played like Ace Frehley. Like he's like he kind of reminds me, like, oh, he almost reminds me of like Kurt Cobain in that way, that like, you know, maybe, you know, Kurt Cobain wasn't like, you know, an amazing like fucking, you know, like he couldn't like shred or whatever, or I don't know, maybe he could have, but you never heard him like shred or anything, you know, and he was kind of sloppy, but he had like a style, like nobody really played like Kurt. You know, he just had these real Kurt Cobain stylistic things that he did, and it was the same thing with Ace Frehley. Like Ace Frehley wasn't like, you know, technically like the best guitar player ever, but he had that Ace Frehley thing about him. He had a sound like, you could play me an isolated, you know, electric guitar track, and I would know if it was Ace Frehley. You could just tell, like he just had a style. Fuck, I just got my ass kicked. So I don't know. It's like, I get it. Like people don't like Kiss and whatever, and you know, but I have found over the years, over the decades, you know, being in a band and, you know, you know, also like working with people who are also professionals and whatever. And it's like Kiss is really, I mean, they're definitely like a working class kind of band and they appeal to like that kind of crowd, but like they're also very much a band's band is what I've learned over the years. Like a lot of the people that don't like Kiss aren't musicians themselves, or they're not, you know, in bands and stuff. And it's not even like they're not like a musician's band, like how like there's like a band like Tool, and people will say like, you know, Tool is like a musician's band because they're all like technical and complex and whatever. You know, and other bands like that, like progressive bands, you know, that's like a musician's. Rush gets thrown around a lot as like Rush is a musician's band, right? Like fucking a lot of people hate Rush, but a lot of musicians like actually really love Rush. I think Kiss is like that, but for just like bands, like they're just a band's band. Everybody that I know that's in a band, like just fucking, they love Kiss. Like you just, I don't know, it's just like part of the DNA of like, if you're gonna be in a rock band, like you love Kiss, like. So I don't know, and I think it's fun, and like they're like a band that like, you know, like obviously like they're not that deep, and it's like, you know, I could be having a shitty day and it's like I can just throw some Kiss on and it's like it's fun, you know what I mean? Whereas like, you know, if I'm having a shitty day, like I don't necessarily want to listen to like fucking Soundgarden or like, you know, Nirvana or something. This is gonna make me feel worse. Like you want to listen to some like fucking rock and roll all night and party every day, you know? Some Strutter, you know? Strutter. Oh, man. Oh! God damn it. Come on. The fucking 35 Hadoukens in a row. No! I'm on the bad side. I don't play as good. There we go. I don't think I'm going to be able to come back from this. I think it's over. Shit! Come on, come on, come on. God damn it. What a weird way to lose. But yeah, you know, Kiss, I like them. You know, and they're one of those bands too that like I've tried to sell people on them in the past, and you know, I've realized after many times trying that it's like it's just not gonna work. Like they're just one of those bands that either you're gonna like them or not. Like I don't, there's not really an in between. It's like either you get it or you don't get it, and that's fine. Like not everything is for everyone. So, but I do like them, and there is something like a little bit in me that's like, you know, I think there's a bit of like, in a weird like roundabout way, Kiss is very punk rock in the sense that like they are kind of like, it's like it's not hip to like Kiss, so like it makes me like them more because like I can't stand fucking hipsters and shit, so it's like it just makes me like them more because it's not cool to like Kiss. So I'm like, fuck yeah, Kiss is the greatest band ever. The more you tell me it's not cool to like Kiss, like it just makes me like them even more. So, and I do have to say, like being a parent now and like having a kid, it's been super cool, like watching, you know, my kid like get into it, because there is something very appealing about the band to kids. They hit a home run with the whole like makeup thing and the characters and all that shit.